everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the His and Hers the Truth podcast.
Yes.
This is my beautiful wife.
Sim, great seeing everyone again. Sorry, trying to put this earpiece on.
Yeah, just getting started, guys. Like you guys know, right? We're kind of driving it while we're building it, right? Or steering it while the ship's still sailing. But anyways, guys, welcome to our channel once again. Right, while you're here, please do us a huge favor. Subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
We've seen the recent uptick in subscriptions, and I think it has to do with kind of the content we've been providing recently, which is obviously, like I told you guys, this year we're focusing more on Asian culture content, specifically for our Asian brothers, because we know the stats, right? Least desired on dating apps, one of the highest suicide rates, highest depression. Just the things that Asian men in this day and age dealing with the modern sexual dating market have to deal with. Guys, obviously smash that like button and of course turn on your notification bell. We've told you guys this a lot, but we might be moving to another platform. We've heard some of your guys' comments, and I think it's just a smart idea. Probably try Rumble, try some of these other platforms, not only just to obviously spread the truth and the awareness, debunk the lies, but I think it's just a matter of time before obviously channels that are way bigger than us that are spreading the truth in their own way is already starting to get demonetized. It's just a matter before we're going to do that as well too. Or as you guys know, we're probably shadow banned right now quite a bit in the algorithm. So hey, quit shadow watching, quit shadow banning us, YouTube, and obviously give us a huge hand. And guys, of course,
some love.
Watch the whole video and then of course share and comment at the end.
Hey, if you're already watching us and you like our content, please subscribe and press the like button. That's the only way that, hey, are we doing this, that we're reaching out to you guys? I mean, if we are reaching out to you, share it.
Yeah, and also, like I said, just help the Asian community out there, because like I said, I think we're still living in kind of pre-modern times, right? We're still kind of living in the traditional past. So spread this information to our brothers and sisters. Guys, let's I want to talk about some notifications, right? We're going to be having some lives coming up here shortly. First of the month, as you guys always know, right? Usually the very first Sunday of the month, we're going to have a live, obviously, where we react and answer to all your questions and comments. So have them ready. But also, we're going to obviously react and comment to the past questions, right? So check us out. We'll notify you guys when we do that. And I wanted to segue because we're going to have more guests on the show this, coming up remainder of the year. And my main focus, right, and I want to kind of help everyone, honey, is that we want to get guests on the show that's going to help us, our Asian brothers, level up, right? So whether that's fitness, finance, image, right?
Appearance.
All that type of stuff, guys, right? Riz, game, how to talk to women of all different ethnicities. That's kind of what I want to help my Asian brothers. And hopefully that will awaken you guys as well, too. Segueing to that, the video we're reacting today, honey, and that's the reason kind of why I want to bring it up, is from one of our Asian brothers that we've reacted to before in the past, ChangNation. I know that supposedly he's local. He's in the Seattle, Washington area. So, hey, I'd love to reach out to you, have a, maybe a live video together, or, love to freaking do a video with you live as well, too. Because honestly, I think he is the Asian brother that I think would be very helpful into giving advice to other Asian brothers how to level up. Looks like a handsome dude, pause, right? But, he looks like he's in shape. Looks like he's fairly well-to-do. I don't think he's RP or truth aware, though. That's the thing. So I would love to discuss these topics with him. The title of his video today, guys, is Asian Double Standard, Interracial Couple, of course, Asian and white. That seems to be kind of the most common couple. And so I kind of wanted to see what he's going to say and react to it. Let's go.
There once were two friends named Lu and Chang. Lu and Chang were both in interracial relationships. However, when Lu told her friends that she was dating a white guy, her friends would just roll her eyes thinking, not another one of these couples. Chang, on the other hand, would tell his friends that he was dating a white girl. However, instead of receiving the same feedback that Lu got, Chang would receive praise from his friends. Why is it that an Asian double standard exists where when both an Asian guy and an Asian girl date a white person, they receive such different responses from other people?
Okay, hold on. Before I get any further, we got to comment on that because I don't know if that's really true. I mean, you guys tell us out there if you guys have seen similar comments, specifically the examples he gave us, right? Which was an Asian girl. And speaking of which, do you know what the term Lu stands for, honey?
No.
It's obviously a derogatory, shaming term that Asians in the community that don't like interracial relationships, specifically white men and Asian females, use to shame Asian women that are dating white guys, right? But it stands for, whoever's out there, if you guys are old school like me, you guys watched the movie Full Metal Jacket from back in the day. It was a Vietnam War movie. And in it, they were obviously accosting these Vietnamese prawn stars, Vietnamese sex workers. And she said, I love you long time. We love you long time, right? So that's what the LU stands for. It's love you long time, okay? So anybody that didn't know what LU stood for, that's what it stands for, okay? But yeah, what do you think about that, honey? Because the example he specifically said that would be shamed, the person shaming Lou is another Asian girl.
Yeah.
Do you really see that?
I don't see, and you know, I have friends that are married. We have a lot of friends that are married to Caucasian men.
Yeah, I mean, that's very common in the Seattle metropolitan, you know, East Side, Bellevue, Kirkland area that we live around in.
I mean,
that's the most common intermarriage couple that we see is usually a white male and an Asian female.
But maybe growing up here, we see it a lot, so it's like common. So I didn't hear anything negative about like what he's making it out.
No,
to
but
be, so.
my question though is would that be the Asian gender that would?
No.
Right, like I think that's a little cap, my Asian brother Chang. Like I've never really heard another Asian sister shame another Asian sister for dating a white guy, especially in this day and age, right, where we're pushing female empowerment, right, especially breaking traditional, right. The whole craze in the last 4 decades is breaking female traditional roles,
but even
right?
Asia, they're supportive. They're like, "Oh, you gotta wait."
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
they want that. Like,
even
I don't see anybody shaming anybody, so I'm not sure. Like, what?
Yeah, I think what you should try. I think what you were trying to say was that other Asian men shame these women, and let's be honest, it's mostly Asian men who don't like our Asian sisters. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's mostly Asian brothers who don't like our Asian sisters dating or marrying white guys. That's going to call them lose, right? It's not really Asian women that are doing this, right? So I think that's first off all is cap. Okay?
Well, let's see if he's going to correct
the flip side, right? So he made this hypothetical Asian brother named Chang, right? And obviously that's probably more Chinese, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know too many Vietnamese brothers named Chang, but anyways, when the Asian brother brings it up with his Asian friends, and this time you notice that he actually showed a male, and he got a positive reaction. What is your thoughts about that, or what do you think about that?
Because he's like, oh yeah, you got one. Maybe you're, you know, maybe you did something good. Maybe you're successful, and I don't know. I'm just saying, like, they're proud of it. Like, okay.
And rightfully they should be. And what I mean by this, guys,
because it's harder for Asian men to be dating a Caucasian girl unless you're more put together. You know what I mean? Like, you up your game.
Let's get into that. Thank you for bringing it up, because
for a woman, it isn't. It's, you know, because our finance is not the thing. It's maybe her looks.
Let's get into that once we watch more of the video, because I don't want to like take the whole time. But that's what I wanted to get into, hopefully, with this video. But let me finish real quick. My Asian brother Chang, I think unfortunately you kind of did a Freudian slip there, right? You unfortunately really made it very clear that the perspective is from the Asian male, not the Asian woman, right? Asian men are the ones that shame Asian sisters for marrying white dudes, and they call them lose. And it's also Asian men that are championing and saying, high five, congratulations, my brother, for dating a white girl, right? I honestly think most Asian girls, women in general, right? But my Asian sisters comment on this. Asian women in general, if the same ethnicity dates outside of their race and they are a high value man, they're going to hate on that. It's just like how black women hate on black men, but it's only high value black men that they hate on. Right? If it's just your average Joe Schmo black dude, they're gonna be saying you're dusty, right? You're freaking trash. They don't They don't care about that. It's just when you're a high value of that ethnicity, that's when the woman starts hating,
that's the same
right?
thing.
Because then they start saying, well, why don't you date me, right? I'm an Asian sister. Why don't you, like, do you hate your mom? You hate your sister, right? That's the type of stuff they'll say, right?
Oh, there's an ad going.
Gonna be the topic of today's video is I react to a clip talking about the Asian double standard.
Why Chinese men are obsessed with getting Ukrainian wives. There's a viral joke on Chinese social media saying that Chinese men would love to provide shelter for Ukrainian women, but only if they're young and beautiful.
This guy with the glasses. This is the power of traveling for dating. Because I feel like this same guy who was in the US would have a much more difficult time because the US dating market's much more difficult than, I'm assuming, the Ukrainian one, for Asian guys at least.
Stereotypes about Ukrainian beauties have been prevalent in China for years. Basically like a fetish to conquer blonde, beautiful women as a symbol of a man's personal success in China's rising power. The stupid part of it is
what did
that
I
when
tell
Chinese
you?
women
What did we
date
tell you?
foreign
You gotta
men,
have
they're
some money,
considered
guys.
to be betraying their
No, no, no,
country,
no.
but when men date white women, they're hailed as heroes.
All right, so this TikTok was created by a girl named Kyla Yu. She's basically discussing how in China, there's a double standard where if an Asian guy dates a Ukrainian girl, or I'm assuming just like a white girl, then they're praised. Whereas if an Asian girl dates a white guy, they're viewed as traitors. This makes sense in terms.
Okay, well, hold on.
I don't know.
Let me
My head.
finish. Let me
Wait a
finish my
minute
thing.
now.
because
Hold
I
on,
feel
hold on.
like China is a very nationalistic country. They're super proud of who they are. And for their guys to date these women from other countries that are beautiful, it's viewed positively. Whereas for these girls to date outside their race, they're viewed as traitors. Tying it into the US perspective, I actually think this applies in a sense because there is a huge double standard when it comes to Asian dating, specifically when it comes to Asian guys dating white girls and Asian girls dating white guys. So these couples are known as AMWF, Asian male, white female, and conversely WMAF, which stands for white male, Asian female. The reason that this double standard exists in the US is because for the longest time,
Okay, before my Asian brother Chang explains it, because
Yeah.
I don't want him to go too long. What did I tell you? Right? Who is the person hating on the Asian brother that's marrying or dating a white girl?
Oh, there you
it's
go.
gonna
Huh?
be the Asian
Asian
sister,
sister,
right?
yeah.
And the reason for that is obviously one, well, maybe she didn't see the Asian brothers that were marrying the Ukrainian chicks, but they're obviously assuming that these guys are what? Well-to-do, right? Rich. So what is she gonna do? She's gonna shame these men because they're like, oh, you're stealing all the good men from our Asian sisters.
Yeah.
Right, guys. Relationships, the truth in general is racist. We talk about this on other videos before, right?
Yeah.
If I want to marry and have kids with someone else, they're gonna have my blood. They're gonna have my DNA. That means they're gonna be Asian, or at least partly Asian, right? So by default, it's going to be racist per se, right? But what did I tell you? It's going to be the Asian woman that's
Good
going to
against well with
shame. Okay. Now, what do you think about this double standard? Because I want to educate my brother, my Asian brother Chang here. But I wanted my wife to comment on it first, honey. What do you think about what he perceives as this double standard where Asian
five.
men in China specifically, he's saying this is specifically in the homeland, that they get praised for dating white
white girl.
women, whereas Asian women get shamed.
Shamed.
What do you think about that? What's your thoughts?
I don't think
Fair,
fair.
right?
No,
What?
no, I don't think it's right. I mean, for them, it seems like in China they're like it's okay for us women to just stay, right? It'd be like, oh, if he's broke ass, it's like stay because you know why? Why can't you marry our own Asian men? But then for them to look outside, you know what? It's security. For these women, security. Why would you want these women to be with broke ass? You need to up your game. I'm sorry to say, I don't support that.
Thank you for giving the female perspective.
I
Yep.
don't
Thank you.
support
Thank
that.
you. Yep.
It's like, and for the guy, I think because they're okay with it because they're like, you know what? If these guys don't really have much, like, when you're saying that these men, they don't have much. I think I've heard this way back when in Ukraine, they're having issues right now, financial, like for the women.
Well, yeah, they're in war, and
Yeah.
all the women had to leave.
No, way before the war. They're struggling.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying
There's
recently.
a lot of poor areas in
The
Ukraine.
only reason why I bring it up was because he said specifically that these women that had to leave the country,
Yeah.
the only way that they would take these women in is because if they would marry some of the Asian men.
I know,
right?
but in Ukraine, and there's a lot of part of the area right now where there are
Well,
poor
anyways, we're
areas.
getting- we're getting sidetracked. But so you brought up a great point, okay? And that's exactly what I wanted you to bring up. You brought it up from the female's perspective, guys. And like I always tell you guys, the problem with our Asian culture, we don't see the truth on both sides.
Yep.
My wife is 100% correct. It's all about values. We cannot shame a female to be a female, Asian or otherwise, right? If they want the highest value men, and unfortunately, if the majority of men, let alone the majority of Asian men, because I'm going to get into my freaking argument, right, that's exposed,
struggling.
is average or just above average. And remember, we talked about this, guys. 5% of men are attractive to women. The top 20% of men are not unattractive to women. Remember that, right? So just because you're in the top 20% of men doesn't mean women find you attractive. They just not find you unattractive, right? So women are chasing these top tier men. And because of the majority, I keep on telling my Asian brothers, because the majority of us Asian brothers have low values, height, game, riz, image, appearance, whatever you want to say. All we focus on is money.
And
now that the sexual market is global and you have foreigners coming into the picture, black, white, Hispanic, or whatever, the women are going to choose the higher value men. Okay. Now, once again, our Asian community, and I'll flip it. Now, this is the other side. Okay. The Asian community still doesn't understand. My Asian brother Chang here thinks that we're equal still, right? Nope. He's calling it a double standard when there is no double standard. There's just two standards. Guys, my Asian brothers or Asian sisters that believe that Asian men shouldn't be praised to date outside of their race, right? Is it harder as a man to attract women, or is it harder as a woman to attract men?
Nope.
Answer that question. It's 100% easier as a woman to attract men than it is for a man to attract women.
And I already said, for that Asian man, right, to be attracting to, say, a white girl,
based upon the stereotypes that we already have negative.
He's got an with his value has to have at least some money. Okay.
Well, and
money.
And this is the particular point.
Or some things of value.
And this is the particular point. My Asian sister, I think was her name. The reason why she's hating on these Asian men is because they're going outside of their race to find a better value. And the only way they're doing it is because of money. The two examples that they gave, let's be honest, these dudes were goofy looking. They didn't look like they had riz or anything like that. And they were dating these pretty damn hot Ukrainian women. Now, see, this is the problem with the Asian sisters. You're hating when it's way more difficult for an Asian man to get these women. And now you're also hating because these men are not high value per se.
For you to keep.
They only have money. And because I told you guys, our Asian sisters have been influenced by feminism, by globalism, just like every other ethnicity, right? They're going to look at these men, they're abusing the system, right? They're paying these women who are desperate. They're paying these women who are naive because they're, in a situation where it's going to make them desperate. Guys, every relationship is a value exchange, right? Maybe some situations are more desperate than others. Maybe some situations, you freaking can get better values. Why are you hating on our Asian brother that took advantage, right? You found a sale, right?
No, but think about it, women, okay? For the Asian sisters out there, why these men had to look elsewhere? Because you know what? You didn't see their value. They didn't have enough. They don't have enough dinero for you. Okay, and look at the picture that he's showing, Chang is showing. Okay, do these guys look like they're six-pack abs? Do they look like 6 feet tall? Do they look like they're a model? No, they don't. But you know what? They have.
On them.
Yeah, you pass up on them because you know why? You guys want more than that. If he had a little bit of money, then you want a 6-pack ab. If he has 6-pack ab, you want him to have the height. If he has the height, then you want him to have the dinero. Well, you know what? You're not going to find a man with all that package. And you didn't want to settle.
And
so
if
you know what?
If you did, you know, you're not going to be the one getting him. So,
Okay.
anyways, let's keep going.
Media such as Hollywood and Western media in general have painted Asian guys in a negative light. So typically they're casted as the nerdier guy or the butt of the joke. Whereas I feel like with Asian girls, they're more sexualized and they end up fulfilling these roles where the girls actually do end up dating like white guys, right? So since a lot of our perception is formed by what we consume, and up until recently, this was mainly media dictated by the people running Hollywood and big media studios, it makes sense how a lot of people have these perceptions that Asian guys aren't the most attractive. It actually hasn't been until recently with the rise of social media and viral platforms such as TikTok that Asian guys are getting a much better reputation. We actually see this reflected by films and Netflix as well. So what this means is for an Asian guy to date a white girl, it's much more difficult, I'd say exponentially more difficult than for an Asian girl to date a white guy. This is one of the reasons why Asian guys in the US are more praised. When I say praised, I just mean like, let's say for me, for example, right? When I see an Asian guy dating an attractive white girl, usually I'm just like, oh damn, props, right? Like, I'm just like, props, man. Whereas I feel like with Asian girls dating white guys, oh, not another one of those couples. Like it's so commonplace, I feel like it's become a meme at this point, the WMAF couples.
Luca! Bueno? Piñu! Bueno? Piñu! Bueno?
I know at least in certain cities, it's just super popular. You take a look around and it seems like every Asian girl is dating a white guy. And this is already on top of the fact that for dating, typically girls have it easier when it comes to the initial stages. So just for a girl to be a girl and then put herself out there, she'll most likely get hit on. Whereas if you're a guy, regardless of race, you got to put the work in and like take initiative, right? I'd say the one big difference between the double standard in China versus the US is that in China, they're just viewed as like traitors, like what the f. Whereas I feel like in the US, it's not as much of like the girls are traitors. It's more of like they kind of get the side eye. You're just like, not another one of those couples. I feel like in the US, no one really cares as much. And just a quick disclaimer, I feel like there's nothing wrong.
Okay, so that was a lot. And like, we'll try to finish the video. This is actually a lot of good content in here, guys. And a lot of Asian related topics that we need to discuss as a community, and we need to bring it out and like eliminate some of this
bring it out of
image, this understanding, right? So first off, he talked about how, once again, guys, I want to debunk this. It's partly true, but it's not 100% true. And that is the whole, it's the media that made this perception. And of course, he showed movies like Jackie Chan, right? These other movies where like, I think that new movie, it was on Netflix. But anyways, a goofy dude from freaking, you know, the Goonies. So what do you think about that, honey? Let's just talk about that briefly. Do you think the media really have a huge influence on how we're perceived as Asian men?
No, I think it's the actors themselves portrayed themselves that way. They took that role. You could have told the producer, hey, I don't want to play these corny ass, nerdy sort of Asian. You could have told them, hey, why can't Asian people be businessmen? Why can't Asian, you know, are you trying to tell me there's all these actors, there's no 6 feet tall Asian man with abs or whatever else that can play the role or play the action role or whatever else.
Guys, truth mirrors art, right? Reality mirrors perception. And the problem is, my wife is 100% right. Guys, they do this with black people. They do this with other ethnicities. Even Jackie Chan, he's guilty of this. He's literally said that I play this part because it sells. And I remember him saying some statement too, like the way we're going to fix this is just having a bunch of white men marry our Asian women, right? Probably not your finest moment.
Not to say that.
My point is, guys like this, Jackie Chan, these actors, like my wife was saying, they're not doing anything to break the stereotype, right? And guys, the stereotypes are true for a reason.
Because
if you're short, if you're nerdy, if you don't want to continue upping your level as a man, and you want to continue perpetuating the stereotype,
then you are.
Then what you're doing is you are, right? So think about it. Like, okay, hey, this gentleman might not be the most freaking liked man, right? But Bill Cosby, right? When he had the Bill Cosby show back in the day, right? What are the perceptions? What are the stereotypes of black men, right?
Yeah,
criminals, broke, you know, uneducated, talk terror. Well, he did it he made it so that way those stereotypes would not be presented in his sitcom, right? Where's our Asian brother who has that influence doing that to break the Asian stereotype?
Even the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, his uncle was the rich, you know,
Yeah.
Whatever person, upscale, you know, and
certain black.
So why can't we do that?
Certain black celebrities have done a great job to stop perpetuating and now, of course, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of other ones that have used it to their advantage to make a buttload of money, right? Tyler Perry is one I can think of, right? But my point is, if us Asian men, and I've said this before, we need to do something about that. Hey, guys, anybody out there, influencers, whatever, I'm willing to put my part in. We need to stop this stereotype of how Asian men perceive, and we're the only ones that's going to change it, right? So we need to change that. Now, last thing before we move on, because we're almost at the end of the video, honey, is the whole difference, because he spoke a lot, but the difference between how China perceives out intermarriage relationships versus America. So when it comes to white men and Asian females in a homeland, they're like shunned. They're like super shamed. Whereas here, yeah, we hate on them. We call them lose, is what he was saying, right? But we don't hate on them as so mad. We're just like, in his own words, right? Oh, another one, right? So what do you think about that? The homeland shaming versus American shaming?
Well, because we're used to seeing it. But I guess in China, they're not that open-minded yet. They're sort of closed-minded. They're still old-fashioned, where they want Asian women to be married to their own Asian men. But think about it. If your son can't provide, I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to have my daughter marry. I don't care if you're Asian, black, white. It doesn't matter what the ethnicity it is. It's if you cannot provide for my daughter, I'm not going to marry you into it. It doesn't really matter.
Guys.
It's not a race thing, okay? It's, can you take care of my child?
Yeah, that's the pragmatic thing. I'm going to explain to you guys why the hate is stronger in the homeland versus America, right? Guys, it's just a numbers game, right? Asians is what? Maybe at most 10% of the American population, Western world population. I think it's less than that, but I know we're growing, right? Whereas, guys, in China, it's like 99% of Asians, right? So it's just a numbers game. If there's more Asian men in a population and they see intermarriage relationships, there's going to be more hate. And the hate's going to be stronger, right? There's going to be more shaming, and the shaming's going to be stronger. We don't hate as much here in America, even though, you know, we're in our little bubble, the Asian men that are. The difference in America is obviously we've seen both sides, right? There's Asian men like myself that know that, hey, it has nothing to do with our race or our ethnicity. If we level up, if we have the values that women want, it doesn't matter. You're gonna get your opportunities, right? But obviously, there's the other side, right? The Asian men that totally believes that, you know, it's something against them, right? The system's against them, right? And it's the media that's portraying us in a bad light, while they themselves are still perpetuating the stereotype, right? You're not gonna get the results.
Actors, Asian actors, please step up. Okay, you gotta say, hey, stop putting me in those damn roles. If you guys stop taking those damn roles and you speak up, which you guys, half of you guys don't, you're still encouraging them. The producers are like, hey, he doesn't care why he's taking this damn role. So why would they change? Like, you see black people changing, voicing out, and that's why they're changing their community. And we're not changing it because no one's stepping up.
And guys, I get it. Someone's got to step up and unfortunately take a hit for it. I don't want to keep talking about that because that's another video, but I get it. A lot of us Asian brothers don't even have a chance for roles. So for them to get roles, I get it. They don't want to stir the pot, right? But someone's going to have to change it.
Wrong with dating outside your race. I'm not trying to put anyone down here. I just feel like it's quite common for a lot of these girls that are, you know, like the WMAF girls to like weirdly be proud of the fact that they're dating a white guy.
It's a full-time job and it's extremely time consuming and it's not.
So as you can see from the TikTok, it's just like a little strange, but I mean, it is what it is. So in conclusion, there's definitely currently an Asian dating double standard, especially in the US, but I am curious to see how things change, since I feel like with Gen Z nowadays, it's the move to date Asian guys. Like Asian guys have it a lot easier growing up now than people did my age. I'm like a millennial, so that's really cool to see. With streaming platforms and social media, I feel like now the perception of Asian guys is in the hands of the people as opposed to controlled by these big powerhouses in the media. So yeah, that's pretty much concludes this video. Let me know what you guys think. Have you guys noticed Asian dating double standards in your own life? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're bad?
Okay, so let's talk about this because let's talk about the first one because he brought up how it's this new generation, Gen Z, right? Seems to be easier. You know, he brought up some media stuff like how K-pop is super popular right now. So what do you think about that, honey? Why do you think it's better coming up in this future, or do you agree with him or not?
Because because it's more accepting, more acceptable.
But why? Why do you think that?
Because society influence.
But what specifically? Or do you have? Or do you think? Or do you have an input? Because I have mine. If you don't have one, I'll say it.
Well, I already know what the influence is, not just media and all that stuff. And Gen Z, which is the younger generation, they're like, you know, with all the political, you know, women's right. You know, they're more.
You're getting there. You're getting there, but you haven't.
Supporting and political wise.
Yeah, but why would that matter to Asian men in this day and age? If it's more feminism and pushing female empowerment, why would that be?
You think it matters because it's influenced our Asian sisters. Of course, it matters because they're.
But why would that push them towards Asian men?
You know.
Why would that push them towards Asian men? Right? Why would that push them towards Asian men? Okay, guys, I'll tell you why. Okay, my wife was almost there. The reason, guys, is because the society is becoming more feminism, right? More feminist, right? More female. And because Asian men now are being propagated as more feminine. Think about it. All the K-pop stars, they're not masculine men. Yeah. All the groups, they're not masculine men.
But we already talked about this.
Right? So they're beta-ish, but cute, good-looking men, right?
Yeah.
So that's the modern, quote-unquote, male image that women think they're attracted to now, right? This handsome, good-looking dude who's sensitive, emotional.
Yeah,
right?
He also has more makeup than you do. So
my point is,
I don't find that.
My point is, Asian men, if we don't turn this around, we're going to be pretty much the prototypical, right, solution to the feminists. Yeah. Right. And I was trying to find a better word for it, but I couldn't really find a better word. But in essence, you're going to be the beta dude.
You want the wuss.
Right. And think about it. You're the perfect beta bucks dude. You make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. You're fairly shy. Yeah. You're totally cool with your woman being more the aggressor, talking out, being the loud person, leading. Right. And you're just happy to even get women, right? Because our Asian men have been so deprived of women for such the longest time, right? We're the least desired on dating apps, right? And so literally you're molding, and I get it. Men adapt, right? We get it. We adapt to get the poon. I get it, right? We get it, so we adapt to get women, right? But do you really want to be the freaking beta bucks for a generation of feminist women?
Nope.
Right?
You don't want to be that.
And they're going to treat you like shit. They're not going to respect you.
Nope.
Right? And you're not going to respect yourself. And all I see, if we go down this route, is that the depression rate, the suicide rate for Asian men are even going to get higher and higher.
Increasing.
Right? But, and then the last thing, because this video is pretty long, I didn't realize it was going to be this big of a topic, but it was a lot. Thanks to my Asian brother Chang for bringing it up, right? And he was talking about, obviously, how in America, because we talked about how they were shamed in Asia, right? He talked about how in America it's more praise because it's less common to see an Asian dude with a white girl, and then also we're just more open to it. What do you think about that last statement? Kind of that statement.
Well, for him as an Asian man to see that, it's like, hey, he must have reached his, potential, or got up for for a white woman to even accept him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He has to work. Just say an Asian man has to work harder to get someone outside their race because they have to up their game.
Guys, this is my problem. This is my problem. And you guys tell me otherwise if you've seen it.
And you shouldn't
be that way. You tell me otherwise if you haven't seen it. But this is my problem with the Asian male, white female relationship that we typically see in America. The problem is these Asian men are not high value men. We are not going to get any change by just being our stereotypical self. And I told you, right? I just had a big rant about it where we're going to be the beta bucks to this new generation of feminist women, right? And so when you're not a high value man, like all the images he showed, right? They were just normal, stereotypical looking Asian dudes, not a lot taller, whereas all the white dudes were way taller than their Asian counterpart, females, right? So if you're not a high value Asian man and you're scoring white women, you're not showing by example that this is what we need to become to get options, right? And so all you're going to perpetuate is, once again, the stereotype. Oh, this white girl is with me is because she has, well, I have money. That's one. She knows that I can debate a buck, right? Debate a bucks. And then second is because she has this Asian feminist ideology, right? Where she's like, oh, he's cool with me being a 50-50 partnership. He's cool with me, you know, like obviously sharing and being more emotional and not be the man and, you know, not be outspoken, right? Not be the leader. Guys, as a race of men, we are never going to get to where we need to be playing that role. I get it. The majority of men are going to be that role. But if we don't have a group of leaders showing our ethnicity that this is the correct way to be men, right? White guys have it. White guys have their Chads, right? Black guys have their Tyrones, right? We talk about it in the community all the time, right? Hispanic men's, I think it was Santiago or Antonio or whatever, right? Whatever the nickname for a Chad Hispanic guy is, right? We don't have a Chang. We don't have the Asian Chad stereotype. And until we do that, guys, we're going to still continue being the least respected and least desired ethnicity of men, right? And that's what I want to finish on, is if we don't change this image with ourselves and actually get results because of that change.
We need an Otani.
We're not
represent.
doing, but even Otani,
but he needs to talk
even Otani's a bitch. You know,
I
hate to call him out like that, but he's not doing anything to help change the image of what a sexual marketplace Asian Chad should be. Right?
He's got the riz, he got the looks, he got the height, he's got the build.
He doesn't have the riz, honey.
I'm just saying his persona.
He has the height, he has the money, he has the looks, but he doesn't have the game and he doesn't have the attitude. We need someone that's going to be a leader, an alpha, a go-getter, take no BS, say, I am the fucking man because I am the shit and I am the best I can do. We need that group, that tribe of men to lead this Asian group of men moving forward.
So if you are that Asian man, please comment, like this channel, and you know.
But yeah, guys, appreciate that. Like I said, look forward to our help videos, because that's what I think, to get to that level, we need to educate our Asian brothers to get to the level. So guys, thank you so much. Check you guys next time.
See ya. Bye.
Join us as we give you guys a glimpse into our lives, give you guys advice, hopefully give you guys entertainment value as well too, and provide you guys better outcomes.
Yes.